What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, episode 15. And what I'll say, Stacey acting stupid. And I feel like I'm hoping it's a game. It's not really her. And Mia, girl, Mia and Karen, they see each other because Karen see Mia in her. The only difference is Karen don't volunteer her lies. You got to ask Karen and she'll lie to you. Mia just be lying and no one's asked her anything about her business. Girl. But let's get into this review. Y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. Now, I know y'all see this. My mic is being a butt, so this is my backup. So bear with me. But let's talk about a few things. So on Watch What Happens Live on Sunday night, Keke Palmer, who is like, I love her damn. Keke Palmer and Wendy were the guests of the night, and there were some interesting things that transpired. So there's a few clips I want to play for you guys. The first one being how Wendy felt about Karen's DUI.
What were your reactions to the verdict when Karen's DUI verdict?
Okay, well, it's really sad. At the end of the day, I want what's best for her, and I know that watching that video was not only terrible for us watching it. I'm sure it was terrible for her as well.
That's right.
So I feel for her.
Yeah. Kiki, did you see the videos?
I did. I was horrified at everything.
Yeah.
I was horrified at everything. I've always loved the Grand Dame.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's just speechless, and I'm just, want everybody to be safe.
Right, yes. What was your, Wendy, we taped the reunion last week.
Ooh, what a reunion.
Karen was not there per se. What was your reaction to her checking herself into rehab? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad for that.
Yes. I'm happy that she decided to go the extra step and get help that she needed. So I applaud her for that.
What did you think of the reunion?
Baby, that reunion was...
Was y'all getting into Mia?
No, that's the crazy part. The reunion it was spread amongst everybody.
Yes, there was a lot.
I didn't think it was going to be what it was going to be.
Yes.
And baby, I have been here for 5 seasons, and I was like, okay, thank you. And I was like, this is just going to be, reunion.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, and I'm not going to say who, but someone came in with some surprise receipts at the 11th hour that blew the lid off the place. And you will not believe who it is.
You will not.
Yes, you will not.
It's so good.
Yes.
You can get your camera, baby. And
Yes.
So I was actually intrigued by Wendy's response, mainly because so now we've had Wendy, Ashley, Robin, and Giselle talk about this whole entire situation. We haven't seen Jacqueline, Mia, Stacey, Kiarna, or Jazzy speak about this. And I just think it's interesting that it's like I want the OGs and the veterans speaking about this situation. And I do think Karen still has a seat at the table in Potomac. I think Karen would have to voluntarily leave, like take a sabbatical or quit for her not to be a part of this show. Because the thing about it is, I know a lot of people are mad at Karen, and you are entitled to that. But I also feel like Karen is likable in a way that production would still advocate for her to be a part of the show. And so will the people that are at the heads of the network, in my opinion. And I know people have been talking about that headline about Karen quitting. Y'all, is lies. It's all lies. That same account, it's called Hasty Headlines. The ad name on Twitter is called Bravo Fox. They just put out fake stories. They got me in December when they did the same thing to Brynn from Real Housewives of New York. They said that she was quitting. I talked about it on BlueSky. I talked about it on Twitter, and a few people had to get in my comments and be like, Leah, it's not real. That's not true. I said, oh, she gooped me, or whoever runs the account, they got me. And so far, I've been seeing them put out fake storylines. They did the same thing with Real Housewives of Dubai. Like right after Caroline Brooks talked about how the show got canceled, they came out saying, no, the show actually didn't get canceled. And Caroline Brooks slid into, their replies and was like, who'd you hear that from? They were like, who did you hear it from? And she was like, you didn't hear anything. And they were like, we didn't. So they just lie. And people pick it up, not knowing that it's a fake parody account. But yeah, now this is the second time we've heard Andy hype up the reunion, and now we got Wendy. I'm gonna be honest, for their sake, they better hope it's entertaining, because if it's not, they gonna hear about it from the people. And I'm going to be one of the people. All right. So the next two clips I'm going to play back to back. One clip is a viewer calling in, or two viewers calling in, asking Wendy how does she feel about Giselle taking it somewhat easy on Mia after the allegations have been out there about what she said or about Giselle's daughters, and even bringing up the whole story about them sneaking boys into the house while they were on vacation. The other is Wendy addressing Ashley, because the last time Ashley was on Watch What Happens Live, she basically told Wendy to suck it about her, comments about what's his name? Is his name Joshua? Josh, the little boy that she dating, and I'm only calling him little because that's what she called him. And she tried to invoke cancer, saying that it's kind of distasteful that Wendy is talking about someone who survived cancer, pretty much. So Wendy responded to that. So let me play that for you.
I think Giselle is going easy on Mia compared to how she has reacted to you in the past about her daughters.
Yes, I do feel like there's definitely a double standard, and I
Hold
stated
on.
that.
You think she went harder on you than Mia?
Giselle?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yes, even the fact that after the incident happened, Giselle, you see her sitting beside Mia, hugging Mia. I remember I went up to Giselle a few months later, and she was like, don't touch me, don't touch me. So yes, I definitely think that there's a difference in how she's handling Mia, especially since Mia spoke directly about her daughters in an ill way.
Right.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
What is your response to Ashley saying you can suck it and watch what happens later?
Oh, regarding your comments about Jack Harlow and Josh.
You know, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that that speaks to how deplorable and just lack of thought process Ashley has towards the whole situation, because she even tried to invoke the cancer of it all to seek sympathy, and that's not what we were doing. It was just light shade. It didn't warrant all of that. And so, you know, I wish Ashley well, but I never thought it was wrong for you to say to your friend, oh, I think you could do better. I think that's actually a compliment. So for her to now take it to this level, it's odd. But yes, I will suck it with my husband, not my rented boyfriend.
Rented? She said she paid for it.
So I agree with Wendy in both clips. I do think if Wendy were to do an ounce of what Mia has done to Giselle this season, it would be off with her head. Giselle would be livid. And Andy trying to like play devil's advocate. I said, Andy, you pissing me off. Be quiet. Be quiet. And then with the other video, I agree with Wendy about, Ashley telling her to suck it and being like, girl, it wasn't that deep. And when was it wrong for me to say, I wish I want better for my friends? But then I also look at Wendy like, girl, you've been letting Ashley play in your face since you got on this show season 5. Ashley has been giving you the blues since season 5. And for some reason, you like are willfully always gracefully trying to give her like some type of pass. And each time she plays in your face. She did it season 5. She did it season 6, because she was also in on the whole like Eddie be liking girls' pictures and stuff like that. Season 7, she brought Deborah around to say that your husband was smiling in her face with the whole happy Eddie thing. Season 8, it was the Osu situation with NECA. She was ground zero for that. And now here we have her basically telling you to suck it because she don't like the fact that you doing like slight little shady things, calling her boyfriend the Timu Jack Harlow and trying to shame you with cancer. But you gonna be stupid enough to let her play in your face, so that's on you. But you wasn't wrong about being like it wasn't that deep, because it wasn't. It wasn't. So let's move over to Mia. So Mia is a little upsetty spaghetti with how Sunday's episode went with Gordon sit down with Ray and the ladies coming at her. But she posted these text messages and it didn't go the way she wanted because everyone started clocking her tea. And then she hit us with another tweet where she was talking about mental health advocacy. And I said, ooh, girl, you slow. Just like your friend Jacqueline. But let's talk about it. So this is how everything started off with Mia. She posted this at 1:20 a.m. and it was another series of tweets, especially when she realized that people weren't on her side. She had to clean it up and make it about her family and like breaking stigmas about bipolarism. When I'm like, a lot of people who do have bipolar disorder have been saying that you are actually adding more to the stigma. And that's why people don't share it with people they don't trust. So she started this off and she posted this at 12:40 a.m. She said, "Let me set the record straight. I was not the one who brought the questioning of my son's paternity into the public eye. His father did. I did not expose my infidelity to the world. My husband did. It was Gordon who chose to air out our family matters on TMZ and later went on a public apology tour during the last year's reunion. He revealed something I have been protecting from him for years, his diagnosis of bipolar disorder." How do you protect somebody from a diagnosis of bipolar disorder? Like, never mind. Let me keep reading. Which causes him to behave unpredictably. He alters the narrative, leaving me to navigate around the truth. As individuals with bipolar can look and sound and seem just as normal as other people, it's those closest to them that get a bit. It's those that's closest to them that get bit. I am fine with being labeled a liar if it means protecting my family, but it's heartbreaking that people still choose to believe Gordon when he told when he told all of you who and what he was capable of. But sure, okay. So let's unpack this. First up, Mia, you are absolutely right. Gordon is the one that brought his child's paternity to the show. But you cleared it up at the reunion by saying that you had something that was reminiscent to like IVF and that you know who your child's father is. But then you started off this season saying that there's a possibility that there could be mixing. So you kept that narrative going. If you didn't want people to look at you a certain way, then you should have started off this episode, or not this episode, but this season, by taking you, Jeremiah, Ink, and Gordon down to the paternity testing lab or whatever, swabbing mouths and doing it and keeping it pushing. But you didn't do that. You wanted to run this narrative. You wanted to keep it going because you wanted to advocate to set Ink up as this like great parental figure, but it backfired on you because people felt like it was disgusting that you would do this to your child. You're also right that Gordon was the one that went to TMZ. I covered that. Now, was Gordon wrong? To a certain extent, yeah, because if you don't have plans on divorcing the lady, what's the point of you airing out your dirty laundry? But if we're going to say that Gordon is wrong, then we have to say that also you were wrong for having an affair. You made it seem like there was an understanding that you agreed to it and then you reneged on it and disrespected your marriage. So he's allowed to speak about that. Now, did he do it in a disrespectful manner? Yes, he did. But I ain't going to act like we don't see women get on the internet every day and air out their dirty laundry and people be like, right on, sisters, speak your truth. So why can't he speak his? And then to say that you are shielding him, but yet this whole entire season you have been throwing in his face that he's manic, he's unstable. You're a hypocrite. You're a liar. And what you're doing right now, trying to twist the narrative like Gordon, makes you look worse. You should have just been quiet. So then she rattled off a series of tweets around 1:30, 26 a.m. where she posted screenshots of her text message conversations with Gordon. And she titled it this: "Call me a liar, a bad mom, or whatever else you want. I know who I am. Believe what you will, but the truth never expires. Ashley's event was held on July the 18th for context." So the first text starts off by saying this: "Thanks for calling. Tear their ASSs up, chew them up, and spit them out." Then the next text message started off on July the 19th at 4:42 a.m. It says, "What happened last night is BS. Ask the production team whether I emphatically said during filming with Ray that you were a great mother. I praised you extensively during that conversation. You should be pissed at production for setting you up. And in my opinion, they share bits and pieces of the information with the ladies in order to get you and did not share the full conversation." So then Mia responds to Gordon by saying, "Gordon, they shouldn't have bits and pieces of information to use against me." So then Gordon responded by saying, "Do you mean like when you posted on Instagram, my kid's fathers, plural, I chose to believe you did not think about how that made me feel or how people would react to that post?" So then all Mia could respond to that by saying, "Have a good day, Gordon." And Gordon responded by saying, "I'm sorry all of this has happened to you last night. You have a great day as well." So he clocked you because it's all fun when you can make him look crazy and disrespect him. But when he does the same to you, you mad about it? Miss me with that, Mia. Miss me with it. So then it goes on where Gordon says, I will agree to be at the test provided pick up the play. No, I will agree to be at the test provided I pick the place. Jared doesn't trust me, which gives me a cause not to trust him. I think that's fair. I don't know who Jared is. I don't know what test that they were doing. Maybe it was another paternity test. Who knows? So then Mia continued with her screenshots. Now, these screenshots that she has, the last two, we're supposed to like vindicate her about the whole her not knowing where her kids were while she was in Panama, but it backfired because people were like, Gordon told you where the kids were and what he was doing. So you gave us a stunt in a show and you outed yourself to show that you lied. And then that's when Mia had to come and clean it up by doing this whole speech about like bipolar awareness. So it goes on where Gordon says, hey, Mia, can you make sure that I have the nanny's name and phone number and that the nannies have my name and phone number so I can continue communicating with my kids? Also, let the nanny know I will pick the kids up around noon time Friday. So Mia responded by saying, Gordon, you have a doctor's appointment on Saturday in Charlotte. What am I missing? And Gordon responded, yes, I'm leaving Friday afternoon, taking the kids with me. My original plans was to pick them up from Donna Friday afternoon and then drive to Charlotte. Charlotte's like, depending on where they live, is like between 4 to 6 hours. Is the driving time, depending on where you stay in the DMV area. So then Mia responded by saying, can you please share your plans? I feel like they keep changing, so I'm just going to navigate and make sure the kids have everything they need until I return. I'm leaving the country, so I need to ensure that I have reliable childcare until I return to the States. Your decision-making process is, she said if, but I think she meant is questionable. And if I need to ensure the safety of my kids, I return on June the 6th at 12:30 a.m. Please don't be offended. I'm just doing my job as their mother. So this all happened either on June the 30th or July the 1st, right before Mia and Gordon Mia was supposed to leave. So then Gordon responds by saying, can we talk? And Mia says, sure, we can in a few. So then Gordon says to Mia, what you're doing is very disrespectful to me. I don't even have Jacqueline's address nor her phone number of the people that are going to be taking care of my kids. And I'm absolutely for it that you talk to a number of people about arranging this before talking to me. So then Mia responded by saying, Gordon, relax. I'm solution based. The kids will be with the girls. And during this time, my mother is down the street and will assist with the kids as well. The girls have been working with Jacqueline for over a year. I trust their judgment and nanny referral. When I asked you if you were going to keep the kids with you this week, you said no, that you were not, you were going out of town and you will not change your plans. I have a work trip to attend to. Finding reliable childcare near my support system ensures the safety and care of the children. Jacqueline has lived in the same place for over 8 years, and she also has the same phone number. I shared the number of the girls with you, and you met them years ago. You can also contact Juliana and Jeremiah directly on their iPads. Our children are super excited to spend time with their cousins. Calm down. So when that wasn't going well for Mia, that's when she reverted. Because my thing is like, granted, it does seem like Gordon is a little like erratic with what he's doing, but he did explain to Mia like, hey girl, I'm going to go get my kids on Friday afternoon and then I'm taking them to Charlotte. And after the tea that's been floating around about Jacqueline's sister, I don't think I would believe any referral from Jacqueline. Like, let's just be honest. So the next thing Mia posted was this long post about bipolar disorder. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to summarize it because it was pretty long. She basically made it seem like her and Gordon aren't getting a divorce because she said this. This is the part where I was like, okay, so y'all aren't getting a divorce. She said the challenges of being married to someone with bipolar disorders are real. The unpredictable mood swings, the emotional highs and lows, and the strain it can place on everyday life have tested our patience, communication, and ability to adapt. There have been moments after fear, frustration, and uncertainties as we navigate the complexities of this condition together. Because I think if I was getting a divorce, I wouldn't be using language as together my marriage. She said, yet though these challenges were discovered to show us immense strength in our relationship. Then she ended the series of tweets with this: I love the letters to our families and friends, and a special thank you to everyone taking the time to share their personal experience. I love and support. I read all your messages. I see you. I love you. Hashtag mental health, hashtag mental health awareness. And then she posted pictures of Gordon and her with the kids. So I definitely don't think they're getting a divorce, or if they are getting a divorce, she being weird about it, because using all this letters language of like, we're together, a challenge with my partner, my marriage, it's giving that she reneged on this divorce right when Ink said, girl, I don't want to be with you anymore. You playing games, people are calling you out, Mia, and you don't like it because the narrative isn't going in your favor. And that's just what it is. Talk. So the episode opens up and we see Ashley going to the local bar and meeting up with another drag king performer. This performer's name is King Molasses. Now I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't feeling King's Molasses vision. And when I say by that is sometimes I don't be seeing the drag, okay? And I say this as an avid watcher of RuPaul's Drag Race, okay, enjoying season 17 right now. And I picked up on, what the girls mean when they was like, I don't see the vision. I'm not a fan of that drag. That's where I was with King Molasses until I saw King Molasses start showing Ashley how to work the room. And when they hit that spin and slid up to the table, I said, oh, okay. Okay, you would have got like $4 or $5 out of me right there, because that was a smooth spin. And then when they jumped onto the bar, I said, snaps. I said, I see it, Molasses. I see it, Molasses. Okay. I said, okay, girl. So King Molasses ends up asking Ashley, what is your persona? Like, what you trying to go for? And Ashley says, like, American Psycho, like hair pushed back, very like 80s businessman. And I was like, yeah, I could definitely see Ashley, if she was born a man, being one of those like preppy, like white boys that be wearing boating shoes and like collared shirts and khakis to like the frat house parties, because that's what Ashley gives. She definitely gives that. So I say, yeah, I can see that in Ashley. All right. So Ashley is just like super excited. She says that, she's always respected the drag queens because she's hosted a lot of drag queen brunches. And she just said like she admires their form of expression. They then show us a montage of Ashley and all the different performances. But what I'm sick of production doing is showing us that lady singing. Y'all know Ashley sound a mess, and y'all double disrespected us this episode because y'all played like 3 or 4 seasons back when Ashley was performing at Pride, singing that Coffee in the Morning song. She sounded a mess then, and she sounded worse at the GNA event. Stop doing that, okay, production? We know she sucks. I don't want to hear it. It gets worse the more I hear it. Stop it. So she's excited. We find out that she invited everybody, her mom, Uncle Lump, his wife, Josh, and the ladies. So she was like, y'all know, girls, come tap into your masculine energy. So everybody's excited for Ashley. So the next thing we see is Giselle pulling up to Kiarna's med spa. And we find out that Giselle and Kiarna have known each other for some time. And we actually see like a flashback. I think they were like 3 days ago or something like that, where Kiarna and Kyle are like laughing and giggling, and we find out that Kyle and Kiarna know each other, like they've been friends for a while now too. And it was interesting when I saw that, because I thought about one of you guys' comments in my last video where y'all pointed out that y'all could see Kiarna and what's her name, Wendy, getting into it. And I was like, how? And then you guys explained it, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see that too. And now finding out that Kiarna is really close with Kyle, and you know how Giselle feels about Kyle. I don't know. I could see Kiarna, falling to Giselle's side if Giselle and Wendy ever get into it. Or maybe she might be like Karen and really like doing a horrible job straddling the fence. But I did think that was interesting that Kiarna and Kyle have been friends for such a long time. So we then see Wendy pull up next. Mind you, Wendy got a flat tire. Her car was letting her know that she had a flat tire, but she just thought it was like, oh, the air pressure was low. No, sis, you had a flat tire. She pulled up to the med spot, and she's like, what is this? Then she ends up calling AAA, and AAA is like, ma'am, your services is expired. Wendy said, expired? And the guy on the phone was like, we got you. We got you, ma'am. We'll figure it out. We'll fix it for you. She's like, yeah. Y'all going to fix that. So she walks into the room being like, Ugh, it's been such a long day. I actually giggled at that. I thought her outfit was really cool and cute. So they sit down and she explains to the girls what happened. They said, Wendy, how you not know? So then they start talking about Kiana and Greg. So basically, we find out that Kiana and Greg got issues. We've been knowing this since the first episode. We met them in their relationship. But basically, right now, one of their issues is Kiana and her last name. She would like to keep her last name. We find out that both of her parents worked in the military, but she's also a child of divorce. And she would like to keep her last name because it signifies her mom as well as her dad, because she was like, she still has a really good relationship with her father. Well, Greg is pretty much like either you all in or you out. And Giselle was like, well, have you expressed to him how important it is for you to keep your last name? And Kiana's like, yeah, but whenever we do talk about it, he shuts the conversation down and doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And they're like, wow. So Kiana tries to clean it up and be like, well, you know, Greg's like a man. Like, he wants to take care of you. He wants to do all these things for you. He wants to do this and do that. Like, I get where he's coming from. I said, okay. So then they started talking about Karen and how tired Karen has been, how she's always going to sleep. I said, one, that's because Karen ain't drinking. Karen is detoxing. And two, Karen is 61 years old. And three, she don't look no different to me, but maybe it's different in person. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. But they feel like it is a big deal because they feel like something's a little off with Karen. So Giselle is like, maybe it's because of the case. Wendy says, yeah, I think so too, but I don't want to, you know, stick my nose in the business where I shouldn't be. And she feels like I'm prying instead of trying to make sure she's okay. Well, Kiana tries to be like, well, I think it's because she on Ozempic. And they're like, girl, what? And she was like, well, yeah, Karen told me she's like pre-diabetic. So she's taking like, you know, something reminiscent to Ozempic. And I think that's what it is. Cause sometimes being like sleepy or lethargic is a part of it. And they're like, okay, so we worried about her, but she on Ozempic. And Wendy's like, Ozempic in the confessional. And Giselle's like, girl, I'm over here stressed and worried about you. And it's Ozempic. Honestly, I don't think it's Ozempic. I definitely think it's the stress of this case. I think Karen realized maybe earlier on, like as things progressed with her case, that like this was not going to be the outcome she wanted it to be. And I think that's why she was probably losing weight and very like anxiety ridden. But I don't just think it's Ozempic. So the conversation shifts once Wendy gets a phone call and the people like AAA is there to help her with her flat tire. So then we move over to Ray and Gordon having to sit down. Now, mind you, normally I don't really get into the husband sitting down like that. The only show that doesn't bother me, well, sometimes it was on Real Housewives in New Jersey or when it's on Married to Medicine. I really don't care when the guys meet up on Married to Medicine and we see it. But this right here was a key. Because when I tell you Ray went down there, Karen sent Ray down there on a mission to collect some tea. And Ray did his best Sheree Whitfield. Okay. I said, come on, Ray. So they sit down at the restaurant. The food looked great. I think Ray got grits and shrimp and grits. And then Gordon got lamb chops, like Cajun lamb chops. They look good. Okay. And then I think they also ordered like honey cornbread. I said, girl, let me write that down so I know to go there next time I'm back in the DMV area. So they sit down. And Ray is asking Gordon, like, how you been? The pleasantry. They talking about the weather. And so then once they get their food, they start to get to it. Ray hit a little prayer and then they get in it. So Ray's like, you know, Karen told me about, you know, the whole kid situation where Mia was freaking out in Panama and all of that stuff. And Gordon was like, yeah, you know, I came and got my kids. And Ray was like, well, I thought maybe there was a misunderstanding because I was like, if you are their father, why is it an issue for you to go get the kids? Well, Gordon was pretty much like, he brings up an example where I guess right after Ink and Mia came out with their relationship, or it was exposed about their infidelity, Mia had the kids down in Atlanta around Ink, and Gordon went to Atlanta to go get his kids. Pretty much Gordon says he ain't got no reason to like dislike Ink because he was like, I don't really know him. All I know is he didn't have multiple affairs with my wife, but like other than that, like I'm cool on the guy. So then I think that's when Ray brings up like full custody and stuff like that. And he was like, we both got full custody. Gordon's like, I don't know what you're talking about full custody. And then this is the part that killed me is when Ray was like, so pretty much, are you the daddy or not? because Gordon brings up about the paternity and how Mia was like, she cleaned it up at the reunion, but then she switched up and said like, oh, maybe he's not yours. There's always a possibility. So Gordon's like, well, I went and got a paternity test. And Ray was like, so you the daddy? Is you the daddy or no? He was like, yeah, I am the dad. And he was like, okay. But then we find out that he didn't tell Mia for a little, like maybe a few weeks. And then he finally told her. So Ray is like, well, has she shared any of this information with the ladies? And Gordon was like, I don't know, but that boy is mine. I said, girl, Mia. Then Gordon also let it be known that basically for Mia to say that I'm unstable, why would you allow me to have the kids for 25 days in June and 5 days? You took them for 5 days. Like, you trying to paint this narrative, but I'm still allowed to be around my kids. Like, what's really going on? All I know is when Ray was sitting there and he was looking at Gordon, I said, "Oh, I know him and Karen about to have a good kiki about this," and they did. So then Ray talks about how Karen tried to tell him when she was pregnant with Raven, that maybe the baby might show up with blue eyes or gray eyes because they run in my family, and he was like, "No, they don't." And they flash back to season 7 where they bring up the whole blue eyes rumor and all that stuff. I mean, it's totally understandable that Ray and Karen have a understanding. Ray is like 70 something years old and Karen is 61 and still living her best life. She probably allowed to get something on the side. The only difference is Karen actually respects her marital institution, like she likes to call it, whereas Mia doesn't. Because Mia totally could have just stayed with Gordon and had Ink on the side, or had another man on the side, because I think Gordon said he didn't want her messing with Ink, but she didn't want to respect that, and now here we are. And it's messy and sloppy. The next scene we got is Stacy acting real stupid. So Stacy actually goes to visit an attorney and she sits down with the lady and they start to discuss, her situation. The attorney, I was happy to explain the difference between mediation and having an attorney, because she basically says a mediator is supposed to be representing both sides, like being impartial and fair to everyone, where an attorney is supposed to advocate on your behalf to get what you want out of the divorce. So I don't know if I believe that this is Stacy's attorney, but maybe she was trying to figure out like her options. So the lady ends up asking her, so how long have you guys been like separated or in the process of getting a divorce? And Stacy says a year. And then she was like, so are you asking for child support? Stacy gonna say she foregoing child support, but she won't alimony. I said, what sense does that make? But okay. And then I was glad that production went back, like, showed a flashback. And I think it was like a month ago, where when Stacy sat down with the ladies, it was during the time where both Ashley and Stacy did mediation. And she basically said there was a few things in the mediation that she realized she didn't know, a few financial things. And that doesn't mean that they were all bad, but it also doesn't mean that they were good either. And I'm like, Stacy, if you went to that mediation and there were things you did not know and you didn't think your husband would do you like that, why are you holding true to the fact that you think he's going to take care of Arabella? And then on top of that, because I saw this online and I didn't even think about that, Stacy's husband is, I think, an immigrant. I don't think he's from, I think, Germany. So I don't think he is like, he probably is a US citizen, but maybe through like a visa process. If he decides to go over to Germany and never come back to America, there's probably like crazy amount of like legal hoops you got to jump through in order for him to pay you like your child support and possibly even spousal support. So why not get it in writing where like somebody on your behalf can advocate for you just in case he start acting funny? And even the attorney was looking at her and Stacy noticed that she was looking at her with fear because, or like, girl, are you serious? Because Stacy was just kind of like, I trust that my husband's going to do the right thing with Arabella. I have to believe that. I said, you don't have to believe nothing other than protect your child and protect yourself. And I loved how the attorney basically said, you want alimony so your husband can still help you in certain ways because y'all aren't on the same tax bracket and you want to secure that help, like that safety net. Why can't you do it for your daughter? I said, clock it. Because what do you mean? Because you don't know what that man gonna do. You don't know if he gonna switch up on his child. Because some men do start acting funny the moment they're no longer with their child's father. So I'm just like, Stacy, I feel like Stacey likes to play stupid. So I'm hoping that is what she's doing in this moment. Because if she's really not going to get any of this information in writing, I'm just like annoyed. Because I think we also found out she don't have a prenup either. And her and that man been married for 17 years. And she even stated in this sit down that he makes way more than she does. And I'm also like, why would you not want your daughter to have the same lifestyle when she's with you when she goes with her daddy? Because she also ends up saying that she's gonna have the baby the whole entire I guess the whole entire week, and then she's gonna get him, like she's gonna go with her dad on the weekends. And I'm just like, okay, so make sure she has the same lifestyle at both houses. I don't know. Stacey annoyed me in this moment. We have is of Giselle with two of her daughters, one of the twins, and Grace. And so they're walking into this store that looks like, Bed Bath and Beyond, but I know it wasn't because, that doesn't exist anymore. And they're trying to collect things for the dorm room. While they're walking around, Giselle lets it be known that, she doesn't know what she wants to do for Christmas. And the girls are like, oh, we want a Christmas tree. And Giselle was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And we find out the history of the Christmas tree. We find out that Giselle's father, after she got a divorce from Jamal, he purchased a Christmas tree. Like they would go out to the woods or go to like the Christmas tree sites, cut down a tree and then bring it home and decorate it. And the girls still want to do that. But Giselle, you could tell, didn't want to do that. But I'm glad her daughters were encouraging her to be like, yeah, we want a tree. Because I mean, like, just because someone's dead doesn't mean that you stop the traditions that like were important and special to you. Actually, you should keep doing it because it keeps their memory alive and they mean a lot more after they're gone. So she's like, okay. So then she talks about how her father is all about generational wealth. They go back to that scene where Giselle pretty much explains about how in the state of Georgia, technically Giselle and her siblings are supposed to get, I think she was like 1/3 or 2/3 of their dad's like, will or whatever, property or whatever, but the new will that's fraudulent, they're fighting it in court. And she was like, her dad was all about generational wealth. So we find out that Giselle is purchasing homes in each state where the girls are going to school, near the school, so that like it gains in like property value. And if the girls want to live there, they can live there, and then still use it as a property to make money renting out and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, that's a great idea, but I find it mighty funny and hypocritical that like the girls online and even Giselle are doing what they made fun and shamed Candace for. Candace is basically what Giselle's daughters are going to be. A black girl whose parents make the right decisions as they were growing up, who set them up to be financially stable in adulthood. Because y'all was clowning Candace about staying in that house or that townhouse that Dorothy bought her with Chris, yet you doing the same thing for your children. And then the stupid responses to this, where they were like, it's not the same thing. Candace was 30. Are you dumb? So you're telling me if your parents gifted you a house when you were like 23 years old, you like the house, you've been staying in the house, you haven't had to pay anything for that house. The moment you get married, you just gonna let the house go? You're not gonna keep it. You're not gonna stay in it until you get on your feet or until both of you guys figure out what y'all want to do. Y'all sound dumb. And people's parents don't stop being parents once you become an adult. Like, I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out here who parents just discard them after 18, but I am one of the kids that, my daddy and my mama still hold me down. And if I ever have kids, I'm gonna do the same. Like, you don't stop being a parent once your children reach a certain age. You are a parent until you enter the dirt. And low key, you probably still a parent in the afterlife because you're watching over your children. You made an eternal commitment. So the next scene we have is of TJ and Stacey, this fake scene. When I tell you, I do not want TJ back unless Stacey is dating another man and TJ legit is being her best friend. I can't do it anymore. I can't, because this scene was so fake, and the way he tried to start fake crying, I was like, yeah, I can see why you don't get gigs, because that was so unbelievably fake. So they sit down and go to this restaurant. They're outside. He's happy that they're on a date. He basically tells Stacey he feels like she's hiding him. Stacey is like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I just feel like you're hiding me. And you know why? Why we don't go out on dates like this? And Stacey's like, because I'm still married. She then starts to talk to him about about going to see the attorney and about her relationship with her ex-husband. We find out that her ex-husband told her that he will be moving out in like the coming weeks. And TJ's like, oh, okay. And so then he's like, so does that mean I could come over to your house? And Stacey basically says, no, I'm not comfortable with you meeting my daughter yet. I'm like, have they even told Arabella that they getting a divorce? Let alone, even if they hadn't told Arabella that they were getting a divorce, you be playing in this lady's face. So one, she should not introduce you to her daughter, and you should stay at the crash pad. But that's clearly where you feel the most comfortable, because didn't a couple of episodes ago, you basically told them that like you and Stacey aren't dating? Like what, TJ? I don't understand. You're the same guy that acts repulsed by her anytime she wants to talk intimately to you or get physical with you. And you think you are owed the like privilege to come to her house and meet her child. You're weird. Like, no. And so Stacey basically says, like, it's because TJ's never been married. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that TJ's never been married. It doesn't matter that TJ's never had kids. TJ is a grown man who I definitely think is cognizant of like the way he treats you and what your relationship looks like. And you're stupid and playing in our face, because I feel like I've been saying, that you don't really like that man. That man don't really like you. And this is all a ploy to get him more visibility and give you a storyline, because it seems like your husband doesn't want to film with you. Because girl, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So then Stacey basically says that this is the first time that she has never had like stable footing under her feet. She was like, this divorce is a lot. Like, I've been married for 17 years. I've only known that man for that long. I've only known that part of my life. And now I'm mourning the old Stacey. So then all of a sudden, TJ want to start getting emotional and like holding her hands. And he was like, I'll be here for you. I forget how I have to be patient for you, but I'm here. I love you. I love you. Okay. I'm here for you. I said, what the fuck? What are we doing? So then Stacey's like, oh, and she gets up from the table and hugs him. Even the kiss they didn't even give like we like each other. Like, and then when he hugged her, it wasn't even like a hug. Like it wasn't like a grab. I just was like, stop playing in my face. Stop playing in my face, Stacey and TJ. I don't want TJ back. I don't. Because this is so fake. So then we move on from that scene and we go to Ray and Karen's house. Karen is trying to show Ray like different outfits that she's going to wear to Ashley's event. She got on a short outfit and Ray's like, what's up with the short outfits? She was like, oh, so you notice, And so Karen is like, that's her maiden call to her husband. I said, okay, Karen. So then Ray grabbed his cup of coffee and he's like, okay, girl, let me spill this tea for you. Okay. He hit that mug. He said, let me get my palate wet. Ray said, so, I sat down with Gordon. He's like, yeah, so how'd it go? And, I brought up the whole situation about the kids and, what happened in Panama. And Gordon basically told me, like, he already told me what was up, and he was more concerned with who his kids was around, and he wasn't sure if the kids was around Inc. And Karen's like, what? And then Ray said, also, she ain't got no full custody. And Karen said, what? He basically told me that, like, in order for them to have full custody, don't you got to get the courts involved? Ain't no courts involved. As well as it seemed like they pausing that divorce. And Karen said, pause. Karen said, pause. Karen said, no, because she told us she had full custody. On top of that, she said that the divorce was like signed, sealed, and like delivered, that like they was going through it. And then I forgot to mention this. Gordon basically said that he told Mia, well, if we not planning on getting married, like remarrying each other, why can't we just stay married and live as that? Or like, why don't we just go to marital counseling to figure out what we got going on? And Karen said, girl, what? What you mean, right? And so like the divorce ain't really going on the way Mia's setting it up to be. So then Ray also lets it be known that Gordon got a paternity test. Karen said, and what's the results? That Gordon is the father. And she said, okay, thank you, Lord. And that Mia knows. And Karen said, I was weak. I was weak. But this is where I have to call Karen out on her bull. Because when Karen said Mia out here lying to everybody, and then she's asking for us to pray for her and comfort her, like this told me all I needed to know about Mia. Karen, you doing the same thing. It's just that had them videos not came out, you would be well within your right to say all of this, but the videos came out and you basically did the same thing. But I don't fault Karen for being on Mia's neck because Mia been trying Karen since episode 1. And if the roles were reversed, Mia would be airing out Karen if she could as well. So you do you, Karen. Okay, so you do you. The next scene we have is it's time for Ashley's drag king performance. We see her meet up with a few drag queens, hit a couple of shots, and we can tell that she's nervous. And they are meeting in the back of the bar. We end up seeing everybody else pull up to the front. So you see Kiarna and Giselle get there first. I really like Kiarna's outfit, like a sexy cowgirl. Giselle was given like Michael Jackson, like off-brand with the fedora and the what's it called, the tie on. And then we see what's her name, Wendy, get there, and she's in like a green cat suit. I thought Wendy looked pretty, but I'm like, girl, if you were supposed to give your masculine side, that's what I wanted to see. I mean, both Kiarna, Stacy, and Wendy didn't do the assignment. Neither did, yeah, the only two people who participated was Giselle and Karen, because Karen at least put on a what's it called, I can't think of the name. Oh, a blazer suit to give like that mix of like androgyny. But okay. So they get there. The three people that get there first is Wendy, Giselle, and Kiarna. They sit down. Kiarna starts to get emotional about having issues with Greg, that her and Greg got into a real bad fight. They haven't gotten into a fight that bad in some time. So she busts out her cry angle and shouts out to Candace. And they're like, oh, like, is everything okay? Like, what's wrong? So basically, Greg has issues with her hanging out with the women for so long. Like, he thinks that she should be at the house when he get off of work to cook and clean, and she's out here having fun, and it's just been a lot for her and a lot for him. And Giselle was like, so does he not understand, like, you're a hustler, a go-getter? And she was like, I think he does. And like at this point, I'm over Kiarna and Greg, and I'm over Kiarna being willfully stupid because she wants to be with a man who, and this has nothing to do with Greg's looks, because I feel like a lot of people say things about his looks. His attitude is stank. And I'm like, you probably are seeing why his first wife don't want to be around him and wanted a divorce. Because there's no way that I would get with a man that makes me feel like I have to dim my light and conform myself into such a box in order to be palatable to them. Because if you met me when I was being me and you liked me then you need to keep liking me as we continue this journey of life together, because I'm going to still be me. But I'm not doing all of this for nobody like Greg. Like, I wouldn't do it for anybody. But like, the perks would be different if this was somebody who was cuter and had money. Like, Greg is giving real average. Can't feel sorry for Kiarna because it's like she wants us to be like all for Greg. But I'm like, every time you open your mouth about Greg, you make him sound like garbage to us. And then his behavior shows that same energy. So it's like, I can't do it. So next thing you know, you see Karen pull up and Stacy pull up. They sit down and ask Karen, about her Ozempic. Karen tried to say she pre-diabetic. It's some semi-glutide stuff that she takes. Then Kiarna was like, that is like an ingredient in Ozempic. So everyone's like, so Ozempic. And she's like, yeah, I'm taking Ozempic. And they were like, well, Karen, we thought you were stressed about the case. She was like, I am, but that don't mean I can't take Ozempic. And I'm diabetic. Diabetes runs in my family, and I don't want none of that to come against me. I said, first of all, I don't care. You take Ozempic, take it. I genuinely don't care if people take Ozempic. I just think people need to be careful because you can tell that, like, the difference between people who have taken it and they like needed it, their bodies slim down, but they look like healthy skinny. Versus the people like Sharon Osbourne and like Kelly Osbourne, they look sickly. They look scary. So, I mean, do what you can when you want it, but definitely get off of it when you need to, because, well, don't want to be out here looking like the Crypt Keeper. So, They all kind of laugh it off. We then see Jacqueline and Mia pull up, and everyone was freaking out online because I think Jacqueline has on like a baby doll outfit, them outfits that look super small, and then you get into them and they stretch out. People were like, girl, is this what Potomac has come to, where the girls are buying outfits off of Fashion Nova and Shein? I said, well, that's what Mia has been giving us since she got on this show. Fashion Nova and Shein's greatest hits. Like, I don't know what y'all thought. So they pull up. You see Wendy asking Mia, like, how are the kids? How's Ink? How's everybody? She's like, my kids are good. They're great. So then Karen's like, Giselle, I need to talk to you privately for a minute. Can we talk? So everybody's like, okay, what is that about? What they got going on over basically here? Karen tells Giselle everything Ray told her. And Giselle is like, girl, what? So Karen is like, when Mia said that Gordon was manic, no, he was in his right mind and he took his kids and she knew about it. She also said that she knew the paternity of them kids. She know that little boy is his. And Giselle's like, so she been lying about everything, like everything, bro. And she was like, yeah. So then Giselle's like, okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation. We're gonna have to have a talk. So Karen is like, I just feel a lump in my throat. I said, y'all messy. So Giselle walks promptly over to Mia, didn't waste any time, didn't even say like, Mia, I got some questions for you. Let's talk after Ashley's event. No, she straight up was like, Mia, so Karen just downloaded me on some information. And it turns out you're a liar. You got Jacqueline being like, what? Stacey being like, and then Mia be like, what are you talking about? So Ray and Gordon had a conversation, and we know everything that you've been telling us up until this point has been a lie. And so Mia's like, so why is his word more than mine? Like, I'm y'all's friend. Y'all are not his. Now y'all are not Gordon's friend. And Giselle's like, because you're a liar. You're a known liar. Okay. Like, that's what it is. So then Wendy gets up and she's like, you guys, like, it's too loud in here. We need to take this outside. And Mia's like, are you sure we need to take this outside? And everybody's like, yeah, Mia, we're going to take this outside. So they go outside. Stacey is really getting buddy with Mia. Like, she done drank the Mia Kool-Aid because she's like, it's okay, Mia. Let's just go outside so you can hear them out. So Mia's in her confessional being like, I guess we have different etiquettes because Gordon's conversation with Ray was Gordon's conversation with Ray. Of course, I'm not going to run back and tell Karen what Ray said about her because that's Gordon's conversation. I said that's because Ray didn't say nothing ill about Karen. Because at the end of the day, Ray still loves his wife and is not as messy as Gordon and will protect her. On the other hand, Gordon don't owe you no loyalty because you be calling him manic and psycho every 10 seconds you get. So he's like, it's up and it's stuck. So they go outside and Mia's like, tell me about my life, Karen. Tell me about my life. Because clearly we're not talking about your life where you're a drunk. You open your legs to everybody that wants to stick it in your hole. And everyone's like, Mia. And Karen's like, girl, nothing you can say to me can hurt me, Mia, because girl, bye, So next thing you know, Giselle says in her confessional, we know that Karen is on trial because she crashed her car. We also know that Karen got something on the side. Come up with something new, Mia. It's not working. And basically, like someone said online, Giselle just called Karen a drunken whore and everybody knows it, but nobody cares. I said basically. So they're like, no, what we finding out is that you're lying about it. So Karen basically runs down what Ray told her to them. And then Jacqueline, being stupid, outed Mia that she knew about the paternity, that she found out. Like, Mia's like, well, she was like, I just found out about it. And Jacqueline ends up saying, well, we didn't think it was an appropriate time to bring it to the group. So everyone's like, so you knew about it, Jacqueline? So she been lying about it. So Wendy just sitting there. Everybody's just like, girl. Kiana's like, what? And so Mia's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Like, I just found out about it a week ago. I think that's a lie too. I think she knew about this probably for at least 2 weeks. And Gordon is like, yeah, girl, you knew that. That's my son. And that's basically how the episode ended. They went back inside after Mia walked away. And what's funny to me is that when Giselle and Karen come together against Mia, Mia can't take it. This is the second time Mia done walked away after Giselle and Karen done wrapped her up. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in them comments below. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.